Alibaba has dropped Qwen 2.5-Max and the world is going crazy over it again. So in this video, we'll have a look at it. At first, we'll look at the benchmarks and the theory behind it, just a very quick look at it. Then we'll head back over to the chat interface to test some prompts, and after that I will show you how you can access the API and connect Qwen 2.5-Max to Cursor so that you can create applications with it. Okay, so for that, let's head back over to my screen. Now we'll have a look at this article from DataCamp. As you can see, it's from yesterday, and it says Alibaba has just released Qwen 2.5-Max, its most advanced model yet. This is not a reasoning model like DeepSeek R1 or OpenAI's O1, meaning you can't see its thinking process. It's better to think of Qwen 2.5-Max as a generalist model and a competitor to GPT-4o, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, and DeepSeek v3. Now, if we scroll down, you can see the most relevant perks, so to speak. First of all, it's also a mixture of experts model, right? Which means only relevant model parts are activated for efficiency. It involves processing 20 trillion tokens for data input, which is crazy, because if we have a look at GPT-4o, you can see that it has been trained on 13 trillion tokens, which means Qwen has been trained on 35% more tokens than GPT-4o. And we also have fine-tuning, which enhances the model accuracy and alignment with human feedback. Okay, so let's scroll down a bit further and then we'll have a look at the benchmarks. Now, as you can see, indeed, it seems as if Qwen is really wiping the floor with the other flagship models like DeepSeek v3, Llama 3.1, the 400 billion version, GPT-4o, and Claude 3.5 Sonnet. Now, unfortunately, sometimes you have the feeling that those models are specifically trained to perform well on benchmarks, right? And if you use them as a consumer, you sometimes think to yourself, according to the benchmarks, these models or this model should have been better. And you can have all the great benchmarks you want, right? If at the end of the day, the model doesn't perform well for your specific use case, how good is it really, right? And let's scroll down even further. Yeah, okay, we have some more benchmarks, great. And now we come to the section how to access Qwen 2.5-Max. And right now you can access it for free, the API and also the chat interface. So for that, you just have to click the link to the Qwen chat platform and you will be redirected to this interface. Now you can create an account at the top right. It will say login. And then you want to make sure at the top left that it says Qwen 2.5-Max, right? And right from the beginning, you can see that it looks like ChatGPT, the interface really. And I just want to, as I've said, brush over this quickly. So I want to test the different features that you can see here. So the artifacts, the web search, the image generation, and as you can see, video generation is coming soon too. So for the first test, I want to create an image in 3x4 and I want to use the following prompt. Generate a knight that's riding on a pink unicorn with piercing blue eyes. The knight is smiling and waving to the camera. And what I want to see here is if Qwen is able to generate hands, right? Because for those of you who have experience in generating images with AI models, you know that the hands and feet sometimes look just weird, okay? But look at this. I mean, this looks great. I mean, we don't really have the piercing blue eyes, right? Or if I zoom in a bit more, yeah, you can see some blue, but it's not really piercing blue. But other than that, we have a pink unicorn, we have a knight that is smiling, and we have 5 separated fingers. Look at the quality. That's actually pretty impressive. Nice. Unfortunately, as you can see, if you've chosen one specific feature, you can only choose that feature, right? If I try to click the different buttons, it doesn't work. So we'll quickly create a new chat and make sure that you change to Qwen 2.5-Max again. The next prompt that I want to test is for the artifacts. So I actually want to let it write some code. And yeah, I know a snake game, it's boring, but to be honest, I just want to test it as quickly as possible for you guys so that we can see how powerful it really is. So create a snake game and let me play it. Here's a twist. When I reach the end of the container, I want the snake to appear on the other side of the screen. So the snake doesn't die from running into the end of the screen, if that makes sense. So we'll click the artifacts and we'll hit send. As you can see, the artifacts window immediately appears on the right. The token generation is actually pretty quick. I've tested this before I started recording the video and it was way slower. So maybe the user load is just smaller this time. We have the snake game. Unfortunately, I can't play. now it works. Okay, so let's see. This works, and let's see if I can... Damn, okay. This also works. So we pretty much one-shotted this snake game. Looks awesome, and I will probably die if I do something like this, right? I don't die. I can't die? I can't die. Okay, yeah, not a big deal, but I mean, I let this count, so let's close it. The next thing that I want to test is the web search. So I create a new chat, choose Qwen2.5-Max, and make sure that you enable web search, right? If you don't do this, it will say something like, yeah, nothing happened because of my knowledge cut off. But we want to actually search for articles on the web to learn what happened to OpenAI and the stock market when DeepSeek released its new model DeepSeek v3. So we'll hit send. And on the right, we will see some links to news articles shortly, as you can see. And it says, when DeepSeek released its new model, DeepSeek v3, it had significant repercussions for both OpenAI and the stock market. The release of the mixture of experts model by the Chinese startup sent shockwaves throughout the stock market as it performed on par with some of Silicon Valley's best AI models. True, this development raised concerns about the competitive landscape in the AI sector, particularly for companies like OpenAI, whose closed-weight models have stricter terms of use compared to the more flexible, open-source nature of DeepSeek's offerings. Okay, now the last part that I want to test is that I want Qwen to plan a coding project that I'm going to start next month, which is an image converter, a full-stack image converter application. So for that, I've prepared the following prompt. Let me quickly grab it, and then let me switch the camera, create a new chat, and we'll choose Qwen2.5-Max, and we'll paste the prompt, and let me quickly walk you through it. So it says, I want to create a simple full-stack image conversion SaaS with Next.js 15 and NeonDB. Please play the role of an experienced senior dev and project planner with more than 20 years of experience. I have absolutely no idea how to tackle such a project. I need you to ask clarifying questions that are not too technical so I can answer them, and then reverse engineer what libraries, tools, providers, features, database schemas, tables I would need to successfully create such an application. Leave nothing out and talk about all of the necessary moving parts for such a full-stack application. Basically, I need you to plan the whole process for me, as specific as possible with clear step-by-step plan and to-dos to follow so that I can give the plan to a, maybe we should say, junior developer, and let him create the application. And usually what happens if you use these LLMs to plan your projects, they always miss things, right? Sometimes they don't talk about the state management, sometimes they talk about the database, so you really have to be precise and give them a proper scope to work in so that they basically give you a correct plan. And right from the start, you can see it asks a lot of clarifying questions. So for example, who's the primary user of the service? Is it aimed at developers, designers, and so on? Image conversion types, user authentication, payment model, storage, blah, 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 blah. Once you answer this question, I can provide a detailed step-by-step plan, and it goes ahead and generates a typical or general step-by-step plan. Again, we'll brush over it fairly quickly. I will answer the questions off camera, and then I will get back to you once I'm done. Okay, I answered all of the question. I won't walk you through it, right? Basically what I did was just speak from the top of my head so that I answer all of the questions, and then we'll hit send. And now let's see what Qwen comes up with. Okay, so we have the project overview with the target audience and the features: image format conversion, image compression, free tier with limited conversions. That is correct so far. Paid subscription for unlimited conversions, user authentication, email password, Google OAuth. So I haven't specified clerk, right? This is why it went with Google OAuth. Then we use Next.js. We use Tailwind for the styling. It talks about state management, which is nice. If you remember, many models don't do this, and it suggests React context or Zustand, which is great. As for the API routes, we use Next.js API routes. Nice. Next auth, yeah, sure, we could do this. Image processing, Sharp.js, which is actually a very popular Node.js library for image processing. We use NeonDB, nothing new here. AWS S3 for storing the images. Payment gateway, Stripe, it's a classic, right? Maybe I will go with something different probably. And let's scroll down a bit more. We also get the database schema, which is nice. Since we're using Google OAuth, we, well, need a password hash. If we work with Clerk, we don't really need that, right? So we have the conversions table. I see. Okay, yeah. To be honest, it feels pretty basic, so nothing special. At this point, I've generated so many requirements documents, and at the end of the day, really, they all look the same, right? Sometimes you have a few differences here and there, but overall, it's not that you're like, okay, so I one-shotted the PRD and I can use it. It's still an iterative process, and it doesn't matter how good the model is, right? So we need to create the API endpoint, store the converted images, limit free conversions. This is nice, good explanation. Then we have the front-end development as the next step, payment integration. Okay, yeah. Well, as I've said, this is not the final version. I would have to iterate on it 2 or 3 times until I get what I really want. But other than that, as a first draft, this is pretty decent. Okay, now the next thing that I want to do is I want to show you how you can access the API and how you can connect Qwen 2.5-Max to Cursor so that you can use it to create applications for you. And for that, we have to go back to the DataCamp article once more. And if you scroll down, you can see API access via Alibaba Cloud. And for developers, Qwen 2.5-Max is available through the Alibaba Cloud Model Studio API. To use it, you'll need to sign up for an Alibaba Cloud account, activate the Model Studio service, and generate an API key. Okay, so we can visit the official Qwen 2.5-Max blog. What you need to do is you have to click on API, and then you will be redirected to Alibaba. And as you can see, I'm already logged in. So you want to click on Model Studio. And if you click Activate Now, you will be prompted to create an account, go through the registration process. You also need to add payment details, right? But if you then click on Activate Now again after you've created an account. So let me quickly sign in with the correct account. You will be redirected to this page. And when you're redirected to this page for the first time, a pop-up will appear, which says, okay, right now we have a promo phase where you can get 1 million tokens. For each model, you will have a list of 29 models or so. So in fact, we'll have a look at what models you have access to. So you get around 50 million of free token, something like that. So a huge number. So once you're in this console, you want to click on models, and here you will see all of the models that you have access to. As you can see, those are 2 pages. And to be honest, I have absolutely no idea what the difference between Qwen Max High Performance and Qwen Max Latest is. Don't know. If you know that, please drop a comment down below and explain it to me, because I would love to know. And we want to go with Qwen Max Latest, the middle one here. So you want to click on View Details, and you get some information. So let me make this a bit bigger for you guys. So we have the pricing, input and output. As you can see, it says 0.0016 per 1,000 tokens. So now we need 2 things to be able to add Qwen to Cursor. First of all, you need this name here, as you can see, Qwen-Max-Latest, and you need an API key. You get the API key by clicking on My API Keys. As you can see, I've already created one, but I will do it again. You can create up to 10 different API keys. You want to click it, and then you want to give it a name. In my case, I'll just call it Cursor Connection. You want to click OK, and then you want to hit View so that the API key is exposed. You want to copy it, and you want to head back over to Cursor, and here you want to click on the Settings tab, and you want to click on Models. And if we scroll down, you can see I've already added Qwen-Plus-Latest because I've experimented with a different model from the same family. So let me quickly delete this. First, paste the API key here, and then you want to copy that name. And again, sorry guys, I should have done this first. So you want to add Qwen-Max-Latest, you want to click Add Model, and you also want to make sure that you disable all of the other models, right? So I've pasted the correct API key, and the last thing that we need is the new base URL. And as you can see, it says http://scope-intel and so on. And you find this if you go back to the Alibaba Cloud Console and you click on API example. This takes a second to load, and here under base URL for SDK, you find the correct URL that you want to use, right? So again, just paste it here. Then you want to click Save, and you want to click Verify, and this should be it. And now all we need to do is close this, and then we should be able to work with Qwen Max Latest inside of chat. So I want to go with the following prompt. Could you please go ahead and create a memory game in Python with a graphical user interface? Please make it as a classic memory game where I have to click on different cards and I have to find the same images, so to speak. If I turn around two cards and the images are not the same, we need to conceal the cards again, if that makes sense. And as you can see, it's pretty fast. It says, sure, below is an implementation of a classic memory game using Python and the Tkinter library for the graphical user interface GUI. The game consists of cards with images that the player needs to match by flipping them over. If two flipped cards don't match, they will be concealed again. Okay, so we wait until it's finished and it's already done. So we'll copy that and we'll create a new file, call it memory.py, and we'll paste it here. We'll save it and we need to install pill. I think it's pillow. So pip install pillow. And this should resolve the issue. And now we should be able to run it. So let's do python 3 memory.py. Okay, so we get an error. It says image 4 not available. Yeah, of course. So because we don't have any images, right? Okay, unfortunately, I don't have any images I can use. Could you please just go ahead and use numbers maybe? I want to test the game as quickly as possible. So Qwen took me a little bit too literally. I don't even know if this is correct English. Bear with me. So we'll see. Let's try that one more time. We'll copy that, paste that here, and we'll try to run that again. Okay, so you can't see it yet, guys, but let me quickly show it to you. So you should be able to see something. Unfortunately, I can make it bigger. No, okay, so we still have some bugs, right? I mean, I can change the window size, but the rest is not changing. So let's try. We have 2, we have 5, and it's concealed again. Did you see this? So let's see if we can find the 2. Okay, so we found the 2 and it stays visible, and the same is true for the rest. I mean, you could always enhance the game by adding a point system, but well, we'll leave it at that. And the best thing is, guys, that you can also use it with Composer. I mean, you won't be able to use it with Agent, right? Because we need a special model for that, the specially trained Claude 3.5 Sonnet model from Cursor. But we should be able to run it in normal mode. So let's do the following. Please create a Flask application that is just a simple button on the screen. And when the user clicks it, confetti appears. So you don't have to create the confetti yourself. Maybe there's a library for that, but that's what I want you to do. So let me quickly kill the process here inside of the terminal and we'll hit enter. And as you can see, it says to create a Flask application with a button that triggers confetti when clicked, we can use a JavaScript library called Canvas Confetti. Okay, so first we need to install Flask, and I've already done this, I believe. So let me check. Yes, requirement already satisfied. And as you can see, it already created the app.py file. It created the index.html file inside of the template. So the only thing that we really need to do right now is we need to run the Flask application. So let me quickly do accept all and do python app.py. The server is running, and if I click it, we should be able to see the window. And if I hit click me, look at this. There's our full stack, very, very simple full stack application. Okay, guys, so I'm feeling fancy. This is why I will try yet another prompt, and for that I want to head over to Lovable, actually, because, well, there are quite a lot of ideas on Lovable, and I found an application that has quite a long prompt. Apparently this is some kind of content generator, so we'll see if Qwen is able to generate something similar. Probably not, but I just want to see how well it performs, right? So let me quickly set up a new project, and now we'll just run the prompt to see how Qwen will handle this. To be honest, I don't expect much, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get surprised. Maybe we'll be surprised. It seems as if it would put everything into one file. We'll just leave it at that, I guess. Let's do accept all. Let's do bun run dev, and we'll open localhost. Will probably look horrendous. Okay, no, we need to use the use client directive. Let's have a look again. Okay, yeah, well, I mean, again, for a zero shot, this looks decent, right? If we compare it with this result, but other than that, the code quality in terms of operation is not that good, right? Because we have everything in one file, but then I haven't really specified that it should use different files, right? The only thing I did was, okay, have a look at the source folder. You will find all of the necessary files. So I probably should have specified this further, but other than that, I mean, it's pretty decent, right? You could use it as a great starting point and iterate from there. I know the review was nothing too technical, nothing too fancy or complex. I just wanted to give you an overview of how it works, and I hope you gained a little bit of value from the video, and other than that, I'll see you in the next one.